Hi everybody, I'm Stacy with Stacy's Organizing and Decorating for Life. I'm here to help you organize your thoughts and decorate your perspectives. So today our topic is going to be about connection and consciousness. We're going to talk about how that feeds into our mind, body, and soul, which affects our health, mind, body, and soul. You know, what we eat, what we think, and how we feel, how that affects our immune system and our health. And this is, if you have your health, you have your wealth at this day and time. Before we get started, I want to welcome you back, though. If you come visit this channel every week and look for these videos, I sure do love and appreciate you. Thank you. And if you're new to this channel, I have to let you know that I'm not a doctor, psychologist, psychiatrist, a scientist, any of those things. But I like those things, and I may share those things with you as I'm going to do today. What I am is a life coach. And I have a webpage called stacyforlife.com. On this webpage, there is a description of the services that I provide as a life coach dealing with addiction, codependency, and grief, but not exclusively to those things, because underneath those things lies a desire for healing and healthy relationships as well as development of spiritual and soul consciousness. It's about going within to feel comfortable in our own skin, digging that stuff up off of your soul so you can grow. So if you or anyone you know need help in any of those areas, please feel free to look me up at stacyforlife.com. You can email me at stacyreneeforlife@gmail.com. So let's get started on today's topic. And, I first want to share with you what I shared on Facebook on Topic Tuesday and what I was thinking along the lines of what we're looking at today. So the quote from this day was right here. Have patience. All things are difficult before they come easy. This is by Saad, the poet. So it's have patience. All things are difficult before they become easy. Saad, the poet. Sounds simple, doesn't it? But it's not so much because, I was thinking about how we take for granted our health, our well-being. I shared practice, and some of my friends on Facebook shared the practice too. So if you don't follow me on Facebook yet, my personal page is Stacy Renee. You're welcome to follow or friend me. Please send me a little message to let me know, so I don't think, if you have a profile that just posted 5 hours ago and you have like 5 pictures posted from 5 hours ago, I'm probably going to think that maybe you're not legit and I may not friend you. But, if you'll let me know that you saw me on YouTube and you're, what have you, I'll check you out. I'll go check you out, though. So, I said that I get up in the morning. I don't shoot out of bed. I'm really in gratitude when I wake up in the morning. I try to experience that gratitude. I try to think about how I'm happy about getting up and what I can do in this day to feed my dreams and goals and visions of the future, just that one little thing. And, I'm happy that I'm able, a lot of people take for granted that we get regenerated rest and body movement. After I get out of bed, I say thank you, but when I get out on the floor, I get on my yoga mat and I do some stretches and a little bit of yoga, grateful that I can move my body. So those are things that I do. And then, I have my coffee, I text my mom, I take my supplements. And, the problem is that oftentimes people shoot out of bed. They just think about agendas, and it says there's an unhealthy attachment to ideas, materialism, duty, and etc. that keep us from the fully being loving and supportive to ourselves and others. We talked last week about our selves, selves, and souls. So this is how this all comes together. Last week I watched a video by Dr. Gabor Mate. He has a video called The Wisdom of Trauma. And it's an hour long, and I took 4 or 5 pages of notes. And I'm going to share that with you in a condensed version today, but you can, find that too on YouTube, The Wisdom of Trauma by Dr. Gabor Mate, who is a famous physician, renowned speaker, and author, and he's an addiction specialist. So in The Wisdom of Trauma, there's a survey by, where you can get an ACE source from Kaiser Permanente. If you wish to, and it will give you more information on this about the wisdom of trauma, because it talks about the childhood trauma, which was a survey taken by Harvard or something. It was made by Harvard or something like that. But anyway, the 3 types of childhood adversity are abuse, physical, emotional, and sexual; neglect, physical and emotional; household dysfunction, incarcerated relative; divorce, substance abuse, the mother treated violently in front of the children; and mental illness. Now, if these things happen to you and if you did not get to process it with somebody who could help you with this, then the chances are that the healing hasn't happened yet, But I found that very informative. That article actually, I believe, came from the Elephant Journal, which is a very informative article. But, these stressors in childhood trauma lead to things like high blood pressure, asthma, autoimmune disease. It affects our immune system, ulcers. It has inflammation, depression. Depression happens to us, and a lot of this comes from that, or worry. Everything that happens to us later in life is from the coping mechanisms earlier in life. To suppress and depress means to push down. Depression is anger pushed down. These processes not only affect our emotions, but our brain physiology as well. Childhood stress reduces serotonin. See, that's what makes us happy. We have ADHD as one of those things that may pop up, breast lumps, lung cancer, and so it develops a disease-prone personality when we aren't taken care of, because all children have 2 basic needs. It's the attachment. This is your biological, physiological, and emotional drive for closer proximity with a human for the purpose of being taken care of or taking care of the other. Attachment over authenticity at any cost is killing people. Attachment over authenticity at any cost is killing people. And then the second thing that a child needs, that's the basic needs of the child, is the gut feeling, the gut-brain connection. So we're talking about consciousness and connection here, and the serotonin is in the gut. Gut feelings are magnifications of the impressions that the brain gets, and it mapifies so the brain can read them. This feeds into the immune system. It's that inner voice in the immune system. So those 2 things, attachment and gut feeling. The attachment is the connection. The gut feeling, feeds into our consciousness as well. And a lot of people don't think about that. In America, a lot of people are overweight and have, a lot of issues. Dr. Christine Northrup was introduced to me about a month ago because I've been dealing with some health issues. And so when we realize that our health issues really have an underlying meaning, rather than most people just go to the doctor and get medicine or something when they have a health issue and they don't look at the underlying meanings. And so Christina Northrup says that there's a conspiracy between the doctor and patient not to talk about personal problems, just to give a pill. Then it doesn't bring uncomfortable questions for the patient, but also for physicians, there's a lack to deal with their own pain and stressors, social and individual. As I said, I'm not a doctor, scientist, psychologist, any of those things, but I can understand that because oftentimes it's the people that are helping people that don't want to, that may not have the time to ask for help themselves, or they, don't want to. Maybe there's fear for many human beings not to look incompetent, or that they can't help. But see, this is the thing, is that we develop our ability to help other people through our own problems. Is when you look at it, do you want somebody helping you that doesn't have experience in dealing with this problem or helping with this problem? Do you just want somebody to listen to you and tell you what to do that they read from a book but don't have any experience? So that's what we do in healing, is that people have experience and they help you, so even healthcare professionals have emotional issues sometimes, and maybe they don't get the time to address those things. So I wanted to address those things today. This all feeds into the mind, body, and soul, remembering the connection. The mind and body are inseparable. The native medicine wheel talks about the mind, body, emotion, spirit, and that these are all a system with different manifestations. They're systems with different manifestations. And with the nervous system wires together all these nervous systems, autonomic nervous systems, and it connects to the brain, to the bone marrow, to the white and red blood cells, and to the hormonal glands, and to the immune organs, and it sends messages from these organs to the brain. So this all works together. You don't just have your mind doing one thing. You don't just have your body doing another. You don't just have your soul doing another. First off, you have your consciousness. This was Bob Proctor. He has this picture, and he says, first you have your consciousness, then you have your subconsciousness, and all of it feeds into your body, because what your consciousness tells your subconscious stays. So whatever you're, getting in, receiving right now stays with you, so it goes into your subconscious. So then that subconscious is where you're going to act on default, and this is going to be your habit forming thing that we don't think about. We don't realize when we got habits of overeating or got habits of this or that, where that habit come from. So when I work with people, I say, what's your relationship with this? And when we grew up in a certain way, sometimes we think that our relationship with that is normal. When I grew up in addiction and codependency, I thought that those things were normal. So oftentimes we think those things are normal. So to overcome these things, we have to look at it. And like eating, maybe it's not normal to eat certain things every night, that are maybe too sugary or bad for your health, and certainly at 8 o'clock at night. And there's different time things. There's different ways we can train our habits and our eating. So, but this goes even further, and this is what we're going to get into, because this has been my problem. The connection through the hormones to the brain. This affects your pituitary gland, your hypothalamus, the ovaries, the gonads, the adrenal glands, and the thyroid. This sends secretions to the organs and have an impact on them. So I've been dealing with this, is that I knew that there's something, my soul was telling me that I wasn't living in alignment with a certain area of my life, and so my soul kept telling me, and I kept saying, yes, but I'm going to do this. Yes, but I'm going to do this. Kind of, like I talked about earlier, how people will, ignore things and just keep going, no matter where they are on, in life, no matter what their profession is or what have you. So sometimes we think we're going to work it out our own way, and we have it thought up in our head that this is the way it's going to work out. And I prayed about these things and all of this, and I just wasn't seeing the results that I wanted. I just wanted them to happen. And I think a lot of people do that, and then I had a health issue come up, and it's like, well, where did this come from? So I started doing things. I had to have an ultrasound. I had to go get a checkup, and then I waited on the results. And but as all this is happening, we're divinely connected. As this was happening 3 months ago, somebody reached out to me trying to get me to try some supplements of some big company, and I really liked the person, but I really didn't care for the company really itself. I'd heard things about it, and I just thought, well, this is just another thing. So I kind of dismissed it, because I've tried to be as natural as I can, but the real deal is that I'm going through menopause, and that does affect your hormones. So I was becoming depressed too, knowing that I wasn't in alignment, and things not coming together as I had wanted them to come together. And then when my body acted up, I was like, well, maybe there's something else that I need to do. So this girl, Chelsea, reached out to me and, said, well, maybe we can help each other in business, because she noticed that I was a life coach, that I deal with addiction, codependency, and grief, and she deals with these supplements. So she reached out to me and graciously sent me these supplements. This is Amare, if you can't see it right this way. But I really liked this. I liked Chelsea's energy. But I also like that it says on the side of this box, love, integrity, innovation, service, and humility, because those are things that I stand for too. So I began taking these supplements probably about 3 to 4 weeks ago. And like I said, I was depressed when I had started taking them, because things weren't coming together as I wanted. I had the hormonal issues, and then I had this other health issue. So I began taking these, and I noticed right away that I had more energy the first week. The second week, I noticed that I was sleeping better. So what happens when you get more energy and you sleep better? Your mood gets better. So I've noticed that my mood is better, that I am more stabilized. When Chelsea and I talked about this, I told her I really wasn't a fan of supplements because I really don't like anything made in a lab. But my dad used to say, when things change, you got to change with them. Now, also, my dad died at 58 years old, and he used to also say, if I'd have known I was going to live this long, I would have taken better care of my body. And, 58 isn't that old. So I, finally took these supplements, and I have to say that I'm happy with these supplements, and I am willing to promote them because I told Chelsea, I said, look, I have to do this before I'm willing to, suggest it to anybody else. I'm not going to suggest to you to do something that I myself haven't done. Because remember, I said, do you want somebody to help you that hasn't done what they're, suggesting to you? So, you're going to have people that do that, but I'm just saying that's what a life coach does. Typically they've worked in an area, and if they haven't, then they're going to find out what is going on in that area. So yes, this all does feed and, well together. These Amare, I'm taking, it looks like this. I'm taking 2 pills and 1 powder in my water in the morning. I'm probably supposed to put it in juice, but I put it in water because it would probably taste better in juice. But it's Menta Focus, Mentabiotics, and Menta Sync. And it's not mint like as in flavor. It's mint like as in menta, like in menta. So the Menta Focus is a pill, and it's like our brain it's supercharged mental focus and cognition. It says our brain is the primary structure that controls how we feel, think, and live. There may be times when we lack concentration, attention, alertness, and memory recall. If you've gone through menopause or have hormone issues, you know that is something. Menta Focus is formulated to fuel your mind with high-quality patented ingredients clinically shown to support focus, mental sharpness, clarity, creativity, and cognitive functioning. Then there's Mentabiotics, and that's that powder I was telling you about. Mentabiotics is the first product of its kind that combines newly discovered specific strains of probiotics, prebiotics, and phytobiotics in a premium, all-natural dietary supplement. These strains have been scientifically proven to optimize mental wellness. Mentabiotics supports the growth and vitality of a range of friendly gut bacteria to increase the production of the feel-good neurotransmitters. In fact, 90% of our serotonin, the primary neurotransmitter responsible for happiness and mood, is actually produced and located in our gut, our second brain. And I want to say also on that since I've been taking this, when you get to a certain age and you get to menopause, it's not just menopause, though, I think that, men deal with this too, is that we get to a certain age and then we get this little gut thing going on here. I got to tell you, I'm an active person. I tried sit-ups. I'd done crunches, and then I tried sit-ups, and I still had that little gut thing, this little pooch that you get right around your belly, so I still had that going on. So since I've been taking this, that has reduced. I don't have that anymore. I also want to say, though, that I did start drinking, somebody suggested soy milk to me because doing hormone replacement therapy wasn't something that I want to do. If you do it, then you need it, then that's fine. I'm just saying that's not something that I want to do. So I'm doing that. So then there's Menta Sync. It goes even deeper. Our gut and brain communicate with each other through a highly coordinated network of nerves, immune system cells, and biochemical messengers, such as hormones and neurotransmitters. Menta Sync is designed to empower the axis between our brains to support our synergistic mental wellness benefits. So if you want some of that, or you're interested in this, the reason I wanted to try it and give it a shot was not, even realizing what the benefit was going to be to me with it, was because dealing with people, I do work with people who have depression and such like this, or, and they're trying to go off their antidepressants, and they think, I'm going to wean myself off, and I thought that this might be a nice supplement to go in between there. Or maybe if somebody doesn't want to do the antidepressants just yet, maybe they want to do this. Because the one thing, I still went to the doctor. In the meanwhile, I waited. I started taking this. I went to the doctor. As I said, I had to have an ultrasound. And the doctor said my liver looked really good. and the kidneys and my organs looked really good. And this is because I don't take a lot of medicines. I too have taken, antidepressants before, but I try not to take a lot of medicines because you always hear that the side effects are liver. So I'm happy to say that, I got to go to the doctor yesterday, who is a holistic doctor. The thing was that I have a few issues going on where some doctors might have recommended surgery, but she did not. She assured me that these things would clear up, that, during menopause, that they don't expand, they just stay the same or go away on their own. That, that's one of the benefits to menopause. So everything's going to be just fine, but it did give me a warning sign, right? This is the thing, when we're children, when we're adults, this is the thing, the physiology changes when someone screams or scares you. Physiology and emotions are in constant relationship. So if you grew up in a house to where you were yelled at or verbally abused, and then you're now in a place where you're getting yelled at or verbally abused, or you're doing that, then that's changing your physiology and changing someone else's physiology. There's a transference of anger that many children experience when their parents are frustrated and take that anger out on them, because a lot of times, a lot of people with disorders think that their children, how their children act is a direct reflection of them, and if they fail, or if they, so children grow up afraid of failure, which failure is how you succeed, actually, is it's trying things over and over and having that confidence to do so. But when these things happen, somebody may not have that confidence. So making sure that you have your mental health, that your mental health will go along with your physical health. It will also go along with your soul, that your spirit, how you show up, and that energy that you get. Because like the Chelsea that I attracted to me that was a soul thing. That wasn't, something that, and then my doctor that I have now, that also was a soul thing. She is truly a healer. And, these showed up right in divine time to help me to be able to, get through this time and to have positive outcomes and positive effects. But remember what the reading said at first? It said patience, that things are hard until they are easy, till they get easy, right? Let me read it again. Of course it's going to go slow. So I'm going to close with this, as was closed at the end of the video with Gabor Mate, is if we think in a fragmented way, we see fragments. This way of seeing leads us to make actual fragments of the world. So if we're seeing fragments, then it's time to go within ourselves and slow down and figure out what's going on with ourselves, selves, and souls. This is a quote by Susan Griffin. So illness is your potential teacher, is what the conclusion was of this. So I hope that this has been helpful for you. It's certainly been less than an hour. And, I know that it helps me to be able to see this. And again, if you would like this Amare, like I said, she had shared with me that it's helped people when they're coming out of addiction. And oftentimes people are diagnosed with different things because the moods are different, so it could be that. It could help with a number of variety of things as a mood stabilizer, because it certainly has helped my moods. It's helped my energy. And it's helped me stay focused when I'm working on stuff. So thanks, Chelsea. Once again, reach out to me, and I can hook you up with Chelsea, or you can probably order through me after I talk to Chelsea, okay? All right, I hope that this video has been helpful, even if you don't want that, to be able to look at yourself and to see how we need to change. Next week, I think we'll talk more about these things, about how we can change things, because it raises the consciousness. It raises that vibe. It raises the awareness, and I hope to help you, because if these things help me, they might help you too, okay? All right, so thank you so much for being with me this week. I look forward to being with you again next week. And remember, you can reach out to me at these different, ways, different social medias and such, and email me at stacyrenee4life@gmail.com. And until next week, I wish you much love and peace. Thank you so much. Bye.